Okay.
There we are. Welcome back to another session of Pathfinder Adventures. We are back again after a hectic session last weekend with a lot of fighting going on, and we're gonna start off the recap on that with Arwina.
Yeah, so we fought a lot. Among other things, a huge black zombie dragon. Um, I think Preacher got another soul. That happens a lot. But we managed to take down the zombie dragon. We almost died, but we saved the priest of Aran. And the elder gave us a cottage, which with a oasis. So I'm guessing that some of us are still baiting. And there was a few holy weapons there, so maybe Magnus can tell us more about them.
Yes, we found, and Mador and myself are carrying one of a pair of holy weapons, one being the Holy Avenger that Magnus has hold of, and the other one being a very particular hammer. Both intended for champions, and the senior priest of Erwan has told us that we can have one of them, but it has to be one that we're suited for. Currently haven't made a decision on that one, so while we contemplate the choice a little further, we'll let Master Iodi toss his gold coin. Tell us about the magical shenanigans last week. Iodi.
Well, there was definitely shenanigans. I got real hurt real fast, and I spent a lot of the time just kind of laying there dying. It's one of the first times I've gone down that hard, honestly, since Leopold died. So, it was a pretty spicy fight. There was lots of lightning going around, and the sanguination, I think, was what took me down. Whatever the blood draw was, it was a pretty wild fight. And I'll throw it to Quinn.
Yeah, it was a spicy fight. The big bad guy was a lich who Preacher had the opportunity to snatch a soul out of the air and decided against it because having a lich inside you probably not the smartest of moves. So Preacher being the smart guy again. He did get a green-haired individual, which we'll get to find out more about. We did notice that the zombie dragon that had the silver claws, we thought it was one of the children of the dragon we're hunting. The claws were actually like coated in copper and painted silver, so we've been debated. And then we found out some more information about Estrella's beautiful husband, Estrella.
Not much to add. Well, we learned that her husband was a freedom fighter in the past and actually had the power to fight off one of the tyrants, but not all of them. So they bested him, and he has been serving them ever since. So that is an interesting fact about his past and maybe his motivations. Um, and yeah, we are resting at the moment with a nice hot bath. People are debating about weapons. And yeah, that is what we're doing right now. Who hasn't gone yet? Preacher?
Yes. Well, pretty much nothing to add except three things, I think. And that was I didn't get willpower nominated this time. That prize went to another player. I skipped that one. This time. Yeah, the being that was fighting up in the air and then landed straight in front of me and then said, I seek sanctuary, and whether I liked it or not, decided to soul jump into my receptacles. That is something we will learn more about, I think, very soon. And lastly, I was also down on the dregs of hit points, so I don't know if I'm actually capable of moving at the moment. I fell down to my knees, and that's kind of where we left off. Anybody else left? Mador.
Yeah, you did cover a few though. Some reason this priest calls me a champion, which we'll have a word with him about that later. It was I think it was like Pavilion that this guy conjured up. Yeah, and we had a massive fight, and like Yodi, I got taken down hard on this one too, but not by that breath, the drain thing, but by his chain lightning. I was on the last end of it. So yeah, he's a little sore right now, or a lot of sore. I think Edamir hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, we fought things, killed things off the Shoggoth.
Muted.
My pen, of course, stopped working the moment I started speaking, but that's good because I was muted anyway. So, most of you are in the tent. Sorry, I'm being constantly nosed by a small dog here, so I'm going to need Arena to help me with that. Most of you are in your tent, relaxing, healing up, while Magnus and Mador have been praying with the Grand Priest for a bit. He's been purifying the chapel and spirits and everything while you've been contemplating your weapons. But he does walk back to you after about an hour of being able to sit still and relax. So, does any of you feel any particular affinity with any of these weapons?
I can sense the power in them, but neither of them are particularly suited to me, I'm afraid. Sorry, Father.
Oh, there is nothing to be sorry about, great champion. It has been foretold that great heroes will come by in a time when Golden Glens might fall to collect these weapons. I had assumed it would be some of you or the ones you're traveling with, but if we are all blessed enough that there are more great heroes traveling, well, in that case, Golden Glens truly can rejoice, for we will be saved.
Aye, I think at this point it's meet that I give you this back. And Magnus draws the sword and offers it balanced in his palms back to the priest.
Yeah. Priest picks it up and you're not there, Ed. The priest picks it up, hands it to one of his acolytes, and he carries it back into the room it was kept in. The doors close again. And he looks at Mador. I must have been mistaken in my enthusiasm. I thought you were a champion of a god, but you are a mighty knight, it seems.
I am not a champion, not in my own eyes neither. I'm a bastard baroness, a baron of a barony that no longer exists. I'm the Grand Master of a knightly order that no longer exists. As a champion, no, I just use the hammer when I need it, and I don't feel any call to it.
Well, the hammer at least allowed for its use while you needed it. You have a pure spirit. Perhaps if you had led a different life, Path of the Champion could have been yours, but it is a difficult way. However, I would not have you leave with nothing. So, that armor of yours, Grandmaster, it seems to be struggling to attune properly with you. If you would meditate with me and pray with me for half the night, I can hopefully help it bind to your spirit.
I believe there's some pieces still missing on this. This was my father's armor.
I
And I believe there's
believe
still pieces missing to it.
we might have scrolls about that. Let me.
I will try and
together.
meditate. I will try and meditate with you.
I will.
I have disbelief,
connect with
I guess.
your armor and see if I can help you find a greater way of connecting with it. For you, Great Knights, these boots, and he comes out carrying what looks like a well-worn pair of infantrymen's, hobnailed infantrymen's boots. I believe these would be of great use to you in your coming travels.
Well, I would be most glad to accept these. It's been a long time since I've worn something like this. They seem particularly fine. A little worn in, but there's no substitute for worn in boots. Thank you, Father.
Indeed, who would ever wish completely new boots? Silliness.
Aye, even with thick socks, they tend to pinch in just the wrong places. Well, I will take my leave and return to our fellows. Good luck, madam, my friend.
So, Mador's gonna stay there and pray with him?
Oh, I will try.
Not much of a prayer, Mador, but still.
You need to find more on my back. I've been working on it. I'll explain to the priest that I'm really not familiar with meditating and praying. I gave that up many years ago.
Well, I'll try to open your heart and mind to the prayer, and we will see if we can connect to your armor. You would just roll a wisdom roll for me. Still, you find it difficult.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to roll wisdom.
I think you just
You go to your main page, and where it shows your bonuses, there's a little die under it. You can double click.
Yep, thank you, I see it.
there we are. Thank you, Ed. Actually,
I rolled better than I thought.
you find it difficult at the start to connect properly with the prayer and the armor, but after a while, the old man's droning, chanting, at first you believe you're slipping into sleep, but it's more like a trance. You find yourself floating first in silvery mist, and then you can see first a young knight, a female, dark-skinned with red hair, getting a gorget fastened by a squire that you know you don't have on your armor. Secondly, you see hundreds of years later, a large, powerfully built man with beard like a hedgerow, pulling on a chained or a chain cowl, supposed to be under the helmet that you also don't have. And lastly, standing on top of a pile of orc bodies, a man fighting for his life against orcs, and you notice the sunlight catch on a pair of plates hanging from the breastplate down to cover the thighs that you know you're missing. And those are the... Smador comes to. He knows those are the 3 items he's missing. Chain coif, I believe it's called. One of those chain cowls. Not a cowl, but a coif. Yes.
Male coif.
I
Male
got
coif,
one that I
indeed.
wear
Thank you.
when I'm laughing.
So, Mador also feels much better, as does everybody else. You've had yourself a fantastic rest. If I can remember what button that is.
The third night, that showing the plates hanging down, was it the same as the muscular night from previously, or a different night?
That was a different night. You felt that might have been your father, but with the helmet on and the visor down, you couldn't see a face. And there was no personal heraldry for anybody that you could see on the armor. Although you did notice that the first knight had a shaft, like the hobgoblins in Shenshedawar to the northeast. He was showing her personal heraldry. That seems to have been lost even before you got the armor.
Okay, so in Mador's eyes, it appears that this suit had 3 different knights attached to it.
At the very least. The Grand Master looks up from his prayers. You can see sweat beading his brow. He's sweated through his robes. This has obviously been very taxing for him. I believe, Grandmaster Mador, that the closest piece of this armor you are searching for would be almost impossible to get. I can feel it. Miles and miles to the east, in the horde of some powerful creature. A dragon, I'm almost convinced.
Another dragon, okay.
It was difficult for me to ascertain exactly where it is, but I could sense still water, the smell of rotting flesh, humidity, such terrible humidity.
Okay. I see you're also well taxed from this praying.
Yes, communing with Oran and cleansing this holy place. And trying to find your missing armor piece. And the spell, Oran's vision guides me to the closest piece, but whatever the draconic creature owns it has powerful magics of non-detection. It was far more taxing than I would have thought possible, but once you have claimed that piece, you can return to me, and I will see if I can find the next one for you.
As long as it doesn't tax you to your death, sir.
But it is the true calling of all followers of Aran to give their life to find secrets. To do so, it would guarantee my way into his hallowed halls of whispers. So, all in all, not so bad.
I appreciate you doing what you did.
You should go now to your companions. The pavilion will dissipate in about half a bell. By then, food will be ready for you. You can lay your plans before. While I would, of course, love for you all to stay here and protect the Grand Temple, I assume there is a greater destiny in wait for you all.
Thank you. Yes, we do have our destinies. I don't know. I don't know about my destiny. I was told there is a destiny, but for me, but I have no idea where or from what.
Well, a holy weapon found you worthy, Grandmaster, so I believe whatever destiny awaits for you will be a glorious one. Perhaps as glorious as for she who returns. I know you've crossed paths with her already.
Excuse me? Did you say she who has returned?
She who returns. From what my whispers have gathered, the young lady who found her calling as a champion of Geb. And through the trickery of another god, she was slain before her time, but Geb has not accepted this. In battles all over Golden Glens, she appears, fights to the death, always turning the tide, always being slain. And then there is no body at the end of the fight, and she reappears somewhere else.
You're speaking of Alberdine. I think that's her name.
I would not know, sir. The whispers have not told me the name. But you see him scrawling in a notebook as you're speaking. All I know is that until this assault by the gods of death, if it is then indeed them, the whispers are very uncertain. It's over. She'll be locked in that cycle.
Understandable, but you also just passed some info on to me that I was not aware of. I thank you. I will bow to the priest and head over to the pavilion.
Yeah, you can. As you enter the pavilion, you notice that the light is very gradually brightening, as if you were outside and it was sunrise. The others are starting to stir. You can feel some pains and aches still from the fight. You're not entirely healed, but you feel way better than you did before you stopped and prayed with the priest. And the first to wake up is Zara.
Makes sense. Zara only sleeps 2 hours a day. She's going to go out and start roaming the outside of the temple, having a prowl around to see if there's any traces of some of the bad guys that we left dead out here.
Well, you're noticing the acolytes of the temple, and now that the magical darkness has lifted, also a lot of local farmers, and seems like city militias and whatever knights live locally have showed up to help bury their honored dead and just shuffle various undead corpses onto several huge pyres, where priests of at least 3 different gods are keeping watch and praying to make certain none of them pop out again and start slinging fireballs around. Any particular corpses you're looking for?
I know that we slayed some various types of vampires, so I'm making sure, looking to see if there's any traces of them setting rats or anything around.
Right. Give
Just
us
in case they
a
weren't satisfied with their first attack.
give us a perception roll, sir. You're pretty certain that currently, at the very least, you can almost feel, or not just almost, you can feel the warding stone still pulsing. There's a very low chance that there's any vampiric minion or any undead scout within at least a couple of kilometers. Which would be, well, in your estimation, probably around 2 miles in freedom units.
Zara's gonna leave a note with one of the door guards for the party, and then she's going to head to the edge of where she can feel the warding stone.
Right. As she's leaving, a knight rides up. Seems to be one of the local knights. Nothing super fancy with him. He's got a war horse and nice plate armor. Lance, of course. Madame, do you need an escort where you're going?
I doubt there's anything in the region scary enough to bother me. And it's best to operate without being seen, because if it's enough to bother me, I doubt that we're bringing enough people to deal with it.
He looks her up and down. Very well. Best of luck in your endeavors, madam. Right. So while our bro there is waking up, what's the rest of y'all doing?
I believe I have a request to look at the corpse of the lady that is now housed within my 3rd receptacle. The one with white skin of some kind and flaming green eyes or something. Very interesting.
Indeed. However, that lady disappeared into dust the moment she jumped into your body.
Ah.
Very unprofessional, I know.
Well, in that case, can I recollect anything particular about her appearance before she turned to dust?
You remember she was tall. Looked human, but way taller than any human you're used to seeing. Maybe 6'10" in height, and just impossibly beautiful. The sort of golden proportions that no regular human without any supernatural means really has. Skin was also impossibly white. And now that you remember it, her eyes she didn't just have blue eyes. The entire eyeball was a deep, icy blue. You could feel an emanation of deep, deep cold coming from her. Severely unpleasant.
She did say something like, won't let my sisters get me.
That she did indeed.
Does the appearance and the description that you just gave me fit any kind of historical figure, person?
You could try a history roll. You know there have been stories for millennia about a figure with that description walking the earth, showing up and usually being affronted by somebody and turning their entire castle into ice, or village, or army, or pretty much wherever she shows up. It's a harbinger of doom, death, and destruction for everyone. You remember a lot of nicknames for her, the Frost-Hearted, the Lady of the Deep Winter, but you can't. You know there are books that speculate in her true name, but you'd be buggered if you can't remember what it is currently. But you're fairly certain that if this is the same individual, this figure has been a mythical hazard and terror for everybody on the 5 continents for a long, long time.
What the heck was this menace doing defending the keep?
The only thinking now that you think about history and that sort of thing, the only humans you can think of that had that sort of stature, emanated that sort of power, were the imperial human family in the coalition of elves, dwarves, and humans that fought against the gnomes and halflings that were your masters.
Oh, for the love of God.
And that's pretty much all you have the time to think before you wake up to Marisol cursing about how sore and tired she feels, and she starts rummaging for black bean brew and generally making a racket around the pavilion, waking everybody up.
Now, is this all during while I'm meditating with the priest and I'm coming back to the pavilion when this is happening? Am I in the pavilion?
Well, you're in the pavilion while but it's impossible to see the creatures just lying still and thinking. So the first sign of life you get is Sara getting up, going morning, and just disappearing. And the second sign of life is cursing from Marisol as she starts rummaging about, knocks over a stool, tries to be quiet when she's getting the bean brew into the copper kettle, but her hands are shaking. She drops the spoon, clanks it around in there, and now pretty much everybody's stirring.
For the love of all that is holy, why can't this work?
Morning
You
to
need
you
help?
too, Marisol.
Morning. Yes, thank you. She sits down and looks exhausted still. Even if she's had a good night's sleep, she looks utterly exhausted.
Yeah, Estrella takes over and makes a black bean brew.
I remember something called a headache, but I think I will invent a new word instead and call it soul ache.
My everything hurts. Does that count?
Possibly.
Well,
I
it
mean,
was a very difficult fight, so yeah.
y'all were the ones that decided to go gallivanting off and save the freaking church or whatever.
Yes,
You have no one to blame but yourself.
and if we hadn't, this standing stone would have fallen.
We
And
kind of like living on this plane.
yeah, and we don't like the undeads.
There's other standing stones.
Yeah, and the relics would also have been lost, so that would have been a very big drawback in the fight against the undead.
Speaking of relics, where are they?
Back with the monks,
What? Why?
because this is their temple.
Weren't you supposed to get some?
Neither of them were actually suited to me. They're intended for someone else, so I gave them back into their safekeeping.
Is gold suited to you?
I don't know. Can I have half a day to think about it?
We could have sold them. Imagine how much relics would fetch us. Right, Zara?
It's the wrong kind of priceless, dumbass.
Zora's not in the tent.
Oh. Just saying, we could probably fetch a pretty penny for it.
Aye, and then you would be fleeing Golden Glens as everyone says, "Hey, there's the fox that sold our relics, get him!"
You don't have to turn everything into money. I mean, what do you even do with all your money? You're a fox.
I was just
Stuff
thinking
and
that
things.
myself. Are you aiming for a bed of gold like Iodi might think of?
He already has enough for that. He isn't that big.
This is true.
Normally, when you use magic healing, it stops hurting, but regrowing what feels like every bone in my body, that hurt like all the 9 hells.
Aye, I'm right there with you, Marisol. I've still got a few aches and pains, and I don't think we've got time for me to sleep it off, so...
Well,
I mean, we can tie you to your horse and lead it.
I think I'll be fine riding for myself.
Nah, it doesn't hurt that much.
I'll probably be able to walk it off later today, but damn.
She hands
And we
both of
still
them a
have
black
a
bean brew.
long way. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And she has to hold it with both hands because she's shaking so much that if she holds it in one, she'll spill it.
Magnus takes it in one hand and moves towards the opening of a tent and lights a pipe with the other.
By the way, where is Zara off again?
I
Can
don't
we
know.
see her?
She
Oh, I don't see
normally
her.
shows up when she shows up.
Right, there's 3 gentle gongs before the pavilion fades away, and you're sitting. You're left sitting on temple benches. You can smell fantastic smell of good food being made, as well as espresso. You think, but mixed with an aroma of other spices. Some of the monks come up with bowls of fish stew and boiled frogs, some nice stewed mushrooms, and espresso, but it seems to be mixed with warm milk and some sort of fragrant spices.
Oh, damn, that smells delicious.
It is a specialty of the priesthood of Varan. We mix espresso with warm milk, cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, and ginger.
Oh, this smells like Harvest Festival.
Harvest Festival?
You haven't been to a Harvest Festival before?
No. Remember fighting, like, forced to fight?
I'm so taking you to the Harvest Festival when this is over. But this
Which one?
tastes like it smells and feels like it's warm and fuzzy and cozy.
I'm not sure. A drink like that, very easy to slip something in. Not that I
Just-
think the priest did that, but yeah.
Your
This
loss.
smells and tastes nothing like my fur. That's warm, fuzzy, and cozy.
Your fur is warm, silky, and fuzzy.
Ah,
Also, we don't harvest it, so, you know.
And we don't eat it.
well, it doesn't smell anything like cabbages and dirt either.
Aye, but it's got a faint. I'm getting a faint impression of baled hay, or actually, no, just piles of hay and fresh wheat on the millstone. And this isn't making any sense to you, is it?
No, this has none of those things in it.
No, but just enjoy it. It's delicious.
Humans are weird.
So? We have excellent hand for scritching.
That you do, but no claws.
No.
It reminds us of the good feeling when the harvest is over, Ed. That's the impression. You have food, you're warm, you're happy. Some of the finer things in life.
And some time off before, the winter sets in.
That too. Means there's a party in the offing.
I think I'll stick to our black bean brew. Oh wait, I think we still had some tea somewhere, right?
Bonfire, dancing. Fun. Simple.
Aye. Music and merriment. And food. Lots of food.
All the food.
Well, not all. You have to keep some of it for winter, but I get what you mean.
All
And
the
like
food you
there
can
was-
eat then.
And on those occasions, there was, well, never anything bad happening.
No?
I mean, it sounds like the perfect time to, slip someone in.
Well, in
but
Greenhill, that doesn't happen.
I'm back home in Centre. We tend to notice people like that because they're wandering around during the harvest not doing anything. So we tend to watch them and then we include them in the festival. And all of a sudden, whatever they were there for, they've forgotten it.
I hope we can get back to that one day. And we are so bringing Estrella for a good harvest fest.
The only question is which one. There are so many.
Well, she'll need to learn how to have fun.
Oh, I mean, I always wanted to have a look at Crack Chevalier. I bet they have a harvest festival.
Probably.
Kind
I
of.
mean,
But the best harvest festivals are in small villages.
I can grow some crops and we can have our own harvest festival.
That we could do. Perhaps not inside, dear.
Well, one of the acolytes comes up to you after you've eaten. You seem to have enjoyed the espresso with the harvest spices. Please have a bag to bring with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
It is the least we could do after you have saved our temple.
I'm so gonna treasure that.
Do
Now
you
we
have
just
any,
need a cow to milk.
Do you have any regional tea leaves?
Tea leaves? Oh yes, we can find tea leaves for you. That is the least of our worries. What kind of tea do you prefer?
One that isn't too strong, but pleasant.
Well, we have a very nice vintage from Shinshiruvar. A light tea in color, but strong in taste. Do not steep it too long, or it will grow bitter. But
I guess I'll try that.
we understand from the dean, he is currently resting, but that you are on your way somewhere. Is there anything else we can do to help you with your whatever quest you are on?
Do you have anything to fight dragons?
Or something to protect against the dragon's abilities. It's supposed to be a black one.
Do you have healing potions?
Huh. Interesting you should say this about dragons. And he shouts over to another acolyte, and it's for these people! And the acolyte carries over 2 crates made of woven roots. You can say, does any of you read the Fae? Or Sylvan? Kevin does, because he's a druid.
Yep.
Yeah, so in Sylvan it says, to the haughty and the rest of the dumbasses.
Oh, that's very nice.
Seems like the little prince did keep up his side of the promise.
And there's 16 little potion flasks in there.
And a surfboard.
You can say they're actually morphed with almost like cartoonish looking caricatures of the different party members. Very true to life, except for Magnus's, where he's been put in the jester's outfit.
One of these days I'll live that down. Stop laughing.
I mean, he definitely was a fan of my husband, so I'm not surprised on that one.
As for the healing potions, most of our stocks were depleted during the attack. We have the components needed to make them. If you have anybody who crafts potions with you, we would be happy to give you some of our raw materials.
Eody's walking cauldron does that.
I mean, I can do a little bit as well, but I'm not as fast as him. But I do know the basics. It's been a while that I made a health elixir, but should be able to if I have the right tools. Wait, where is my backpack?
I think Eody would be better suited for that.
Doesn't hurt to have 2 people who know how to do it.
Yeah, but he knows what he's doing.
Hi, you've never seen me craft it. I know what I'm doing as well.
You just said yourself that it's been a while. He's better at it.
Well,
what is it with people not trusting in my skills these days?
The acolytes, just ignoring Edamir and Estella, carry several bundles of crafting materials over to Eody. One of them looks at him and, I hear that we can give a coin to you for luck. Is this true?
Eody is currently ladling healing potions. It's fun that you would bring that up. And as he looks at him, he is, Eody accepts all coins. Luck? Maybe. Unluck? Probably.
Well, great master. He pulls out a gold coin about the size of your palm. This coin used to belong to the horde of the ancient blue worm Shoggoth. I will gift it to you in hope for the luck of the temple.
Eody takes it very quickly and he looks at him and he says, yes, much luck. All the luck, in fact. And he kind of bites it a little bit to see if it's real.
Definitely yes. Almost still a slight feeling of electricity in it, like licking a battery as he tries to bite it. You can see it's actually imprinted with a what must be a a pretty successful blue dragon if he's actually had coins made in his own image.
Okay. I make the coin disappear then into my pocket. And Iodi is like, you can deliver all these supplies you would like, but Iodi can only craft these so fast, so...
Well, this should be enough for a good 30 portions. Maybe more if you're careful with it. They just leave it at Iodi's feet. Hurry off. All of the acolytes are pretty busy, like gathering broken windows so that the older and more successful priests can mend them back whole. And in general, they've got their hands full. There's not a lot of people stopping to pay you too much attention.
Zara's the only one not in the room, right?
That is true.
Cool. Iodi's gonna shuffle over. He's obviously limping and still not feeling great. But he's going to deliver a potion to Preacher and one to Mador. These are all I can make for now. For a few days I will have more. Perhaps we are more careful next time, yes?
Thank you.
Did you make some for yourself, Iodi? You took quite a beating there, too.
Yes, Iodi always keeps one for himself. It is a prudent thing, yes?
Yes, thank you, Master Iodi.
Aye, we don't need to lose the mage in the middle of a fight.
I'm gonna go plop down at the table where Estrella's sulking. And he kind of like leans back a little bit and he goes, "So Estrella, when are you going to make these potions,
Well, some people always kept me from it.
No one has stopped you from doing this.
No, just people not having any trust in any of my skills, either scouting or alchemy.
Well,
Well,
in
I
their
think the main
defense, you do have a tendency to murder people, yes?
Which doesn't mean I'm a bad scout.
Or
no
get
one,
caught.
No one claimed this. No one said this. Now I will call you the grumpy one, yes?
She's just looking at him, raising an eyebrow. No one said that. You're sure?
Iodi is sure of everything. He knows all.
Yeah. Maybe you should check your memory a little bit.
Is this
want
your
some
way of
tea?
saying you will be pouting in the corner and not making the potions?
All right, give it here. And she's taking out her alchemy set.
Do you see? We have found a use for her.
I think the main problem is how long it takes to brew the potions, and we have to keep on the move.
Well, Tiny Fox, 2 hands are better than 1, yes? If Iodi can only make potions in multiple days, we can have 2 sets of potions. You need to get
But-
your head out of the clouds, my friend. Come back down with us all.
You already have 2 hands.
Yes, I need more hands, Foxman.
But we only have 1 walking cauldron.
Yes, she does not require this.
Then how will it brew?
That is not
When
my
we're on the
problem.
move.
That is her problem. And certainly not yours, yes? Tiny Foxman would be better suited as a coat. Please, stop while the adults are talking, yes?
Right. While this is going on, Saras returned to the temple and sought out the dean. So she gets an audience with him in his reading room, filled with, well, it's more like a compact library. And she is actually handed a cup of this espresso with the extra spices and the warmed milk as she enters.
She sets it on the table off to the side. Good morning, good morning. I had a hunch, so I went out for a stroll. To the east, at the edge of the radius of the warding stone, I found the site that they used to breach the warding stone's barrier. Some of it was, destroyed obviously by the completion of the ritual. There was a stone in the center that looked like it had been struck by lightning. Probably broke when it suppressed the aura. However, here's the notes I could take of the site. I think it would be best if you focused your efforts of research on finding a way to either detect or protect against this ritual. Because I suspect that if we were to go to the other warding stones that have been struck, that it was the same ritual used at each one.
Let me see. He starts looking at it. The more he looks at it, you can see him getting both agitated and a bit more pale. It is as I feared. This has the... No, wait, what is that? This is a ritual. An unholy ritual for certain, but... to a new god. One unseen before. Or if not a god, something so close that it would be difficult to tell the difference. And if we are seeing one new god, soon we will see more. I'm afraid not just Goldinglands, but our world is about to see a time of great upheaval. This god, however, is of course the immediate problem being in Goldinglands, so we will do what we can to make sense of this. You, I believe... Do you know where you got your powers? You sense more than anybody else around you, if I'm not entirely mistaken.
I'd rather not talk about my source of powers to a complete stranger. That's very personal.
Of course it is. It would be for any champion. But your powers are there for certain. And Oran at least smiles upon your ability to find secrets.
And Coronis loves that I choose the path I wish to follow. She's gonna jingle like her entire fistful of amulets that she wears.
Ah, yes. Being nosy like you are, I believe, it would please many gods, but it pleases Aran especially. Tell me, is there any boon I can grant you before you leave?
Well, after you finish thwarting this ritual and allow me to return to my carefree life of doing whatever I wish to make as much money as I can get my hands on, finding the name of that priestess of Gone would be quite payment enough.
Of course. Of course, Seeker. I will do what I can. It will take time. 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Maybe a year, who knows? But I will make it a priority to find this name. I believe...
whatever you find for this ritual, please be sure to pass it towards us. Perhaps we can make some use of what you learn as well.
Indeed. I believe not just around, but many, many gods smile upon you and your companions. I will contact you as soon as I have an answer.
We'd appreciate it. I don't like the sound of that stuff about a new god.
You're not in the room, Magnus. Is there anything else, Blue Lady, I can help you with?
No, for now, I think that's all we need. Knowledge, something that you guys are quite adept at recovering. At least
Very well. I will, allow me to at least gift you this, he says, and he pulls out a diamond. It's worth a lot of money and easy to carry. Places it on the table in front of Zara.
Zara will pick it up and look at it carefully.
It looks like a diamond.
You know the way to a lady's heart. Lightweight valuables.
Indeed. I think now you should rejoin your companions, I believe. I heard some of them discussing what items of clothing the other would be best suited as.
My bet's on a hat. Not a lot of fox there for anything else. And Zara will leave.
Yep. She comes back to Estrella playing with her chemistry set. And Yodi quarreling with Edamir.
Estrella is mumbling, finally good for something, ha ha ha.
I'm just saying you would be much more useful if you had thumbs, little fox.
Well, glad to see I didn't miss anything important.
Where have you been?
Oh, out for a stroll. Are we ready to travel?
As good as, I think.
I have thumbs. See? And I'm morph thumbs.
You are a very strange creature, you know this?
I think you're the stranger one.
Ah yes, the Know You defense classic.
Yes, who has scales instead of fur?
You have scales instead of fur. And he just turns around.
So, which path are you guys planning on heading? That I am a bit curious about.
Well, it looks like straight east and a little south.
Yeah, the southern bridge from the Grand Temple there to the east.
Do I shake up the magical fox and get him to cast the spell that shows us the way?
I will show the way.
Right.
So I'd say we're moving to Langon first.
Where do you want show the way to show you the way to? That's sort of important before I can give any sort of coherent answer.
True.
Black
Guess.
Dragon's Lair.
Black Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, show the way is not able to penetrate whatever's hiding where the dragon's lair is.
I'm sure we'll run across it. We just go to the middle of the swamp.
So
It's still quite a way to travel, so I'd maybe make a stop at Langon first. It is on our way to La Rochette as well.
Langen's all the way north. What about that La Linde?
Well, what we're trying to find is that dragon, so we'll probably need somewhere to find rumors about it.
If I was
Probably
a cranky,
Lalende.
evil dragon, I would be in the lake at the bottom of the swamp.
Does black dragons
Right.
live in lakes?
Maybe
It's all a
under the
swamp.
lake.
It's probably not much of an actual lake, rather a large, stagnant, shallow pool of filth
Ugh.
where it breaches down into Gagnon.
So definitely sounds like a dragon cesspool.
Hmm. Wasn't it said that he makes a game of knocking on doors in a village?
What?
Well, that's what that Fey Prince said. That he likes to, knock on doors and scare people. I'm trying to remember if he said which village that is.
I do show the way to La Linde. I think I got it. It's this way.
Yep, that would be past the southernmost of the 3 bridges. And then Show the Way tells you that there's a village to the east of that where you'd be able to get boat passage that would take you to La Linda much faster than sloshing through the swamps.
We can even get a boat.
Love it. Lead the way.
As you're getting up to leave, suddenly you hear a powerful female voice from Preacher's mouth as his eyes turn purple. Heathens! You will all bow before the power of the Halfling Empire! And then one eye turns deep blue, like, no, you get out of there! If anybody's possessing this body, it's me! Before both of those lights flicker a bit, and you can see Preacher's normal eye color reassert itself.
Yep, let's just keep going. Nothing to
what?
see here.
Power struggle, Preacher?
You feel good?
No. Not
Yoda's
particularly.
gonna poke at him a little bit and see if I can figure out what's going on.
But you've got it under control that we're not suddenly having your fists in our backs, right?
Who the hell knows? This is news to me too as well. I'm not exactly on top of my game at the moment in knowledge about this thing.
All right, Mador, could you please keep an eye on him?
I will try.
Well, I just think fighting in second row, you have a better overview about the situation at a few times, and you can definitely take a few punches when he actually turns. Don't worry, we will come to your help.
I see what he can do with his punches. I don't know if I could.
Yoda's got his ear up to Preacher's chest and he's like poking at him. He's like, do you hear these voices in your head, Preacher?
Not really.
Have you tried just releasing them?
I think that would be a bad idea.
All right,
But,
did everyone...
But no, I haven't tried that, simply because I don't know how.
Well, we should also distribute these potions before we leave.
Do I see anything different with the new soul, harness that he has going on, other than the other ones? Is there anything different I'm noticing while I'm poking at this guy?
Yeah, it's different for certain. For one, it looks like this might be the receptacles might actually have been made for this exact sort of soul. It seems like it both has more ability to act while within the receptacle than the other souls, and also it's very powerful, equal to the power of the, or probably almost certainly greater in power even than the soul of the what Preacher described as a crazy underwater gnome. But it's also fairly docile, unlike the gnome soul, which to Iodi looks purple. That's constantly raging and trying to take control. This new one seems perfectly happy to be where it is.
Well, Iodi can deduce one thing, Preacher.
Mhm.
I have no idea what is going on with you.
Makes two of us.
Though I do say that it seems that this particular friend you have made, wants to be there. Something we should definitely be keeping an eye on.
I do recall the words wanting to hide from their sisters. So that might be it.
It sounds more like they want to take control of your body.
Judging from what I can tell here also, you do appear to be losing a little bit of power in this manner. Iodi is concerned. Perhaps we may find a way to, we will say, charge you up a bit, but as it stands now, I do not see this ending well for you, my friend.
Well, we could just make some dummies of whatever and put the souls into them like the other robots.
I do not think we want to empower the evil soul in the preacher by giving it a body. This sounds like a terrible idea.
Who says we're going to give it a good body?
It's not exactly a technique that is readily available at the corner store.
That's not entirely true. We did find people smuggling uninhabited automaton bodies.
Yes, but that's also not on the corner store. So what I'm saying is, it's not going to be found here in the middle of this forest.
True, and we must go kill a dragon. I agree with Preacher. Let us go.
Right. So you are, from what I understand, heading to the southernmost bridge and over towards the village with the boat.
The boats?
Yes.
So, what kind of formation or travel order are you guys traveling in? For no particular reason.
I'm in the front with whoever else is scouting to lead the way.
I'm scouting.
Zara's
I'm-
driving the wagon.
I'm in the
following
wagon.
behind the scouts.
Yeah, since I have the incredible scout, let me just have a look at it again. I think it was a +2 circumstance bonus when I used the scout exploration activity.
And
Oh.
I'm Regard as usual.
Right. Well, you have yourself being on a wagon. You have 2 pretty boring days. Honestly, traveling down towards the river. Ovilar, not really the province with the most interesting view. It's like traveling through Iowa. It's wheat. It's wheat all the way, pretty much every way. Wheat and wheat farmers. Yeah. That's so you have yourself two pretty calm and relaxing days.
I make sure I greet them properly with the sword at my belt and stuff this time so that they won't glare at us anymore.
Yeah, all of them seem to take kindly to that, and rumor has also spread that you helped defeat whatever evil was at the Grand Temple. So you're gifted a lot of baked goods as you travel past the various small hamlets. Usually no more than 2 or 3 hours between each hamlet, and you haven't had to touch any rations.
I'm starting to ask for a small bottle of milk whenever we're meeting someone in the morning so that I can make my warm milk espresso with spices.
I am not turning into a cow so you can milk me.
I am not asking you to. I'm asking the farmers to give me a small bottle of milk.
But you did just solve your problem of access to milk when you're in the swamp. As you come up on the bridge, you see there are hundreds, probably thousands on the different continents of these ancient watchtowers. 3 stories tall, round, bigger on the inside than on the outside, usually with a ballista on top.
Is it like the one we up at Raven Guard?
Yep. Those are remnants of the First Empire. Nobody really knows why they're still standing. It's pretty much the only structure that's this common. And as whatever Golden Glens was during the First Empire was heavily militarized, there's a ton of them in Golden Glens. But outside, you see some older soldiers in their 50s and 60s, it seems, sitting, smoking. They just nod at you when you come by. The eldest of them, an old lady with short cropped hair, a well-worn halberd, leaned to a barrel next to her. So holds up a clay bottle of beer and greets you. Well, knights. Normally we take a toll, but I see that there are 2 of you in this group of travelers, so I'm not going to bother asking for papers. Do you have any news from your travels?
Well, the siege of Ravensbridge is lifted, and the Grand Temple is safe.
And we're looking for a dragon. Have you seen any black dragons?
Ah, dragon slayers. Well, somebody's got to do that, and better you youngsters than me. We have not seen a dragon, but a young man staying with us currently did see one. Arnold, go and wake him up. And she nods over at another elderly fellow who gets up with a lot of groaning and moaning and shuffles in. If you're hunting the great black one, I would not be sad to hear of his demise. He's been a problem in Gramont for a long time. Never crosses the border to Orvillar. I assume he doesn't want to piss off anyone in the college, but in Gramont itself, he's been a terror for a long time. There we are, and a young man with greenish tint to his skin, broader features than normal for a human, and slightly more jagged teeth. Seems like he's got some hobgoblin in him. Exits the tower. He's dressed in black armor with silver and red accents and a lot of small bells adorning both his shoulder plates and belts. He puts on a wide-brimmed black hat, also with small silver bells all the way around. You can see he's got a katana and a shorter curved sword in his belt. He seems like he's been pretty well beaten up. A lot of acid damage to that armor. Holy shit. Heavy wind into somebody's microphone there for a moment. He comes out and bows to you all. Greetings. I am Diego Matador de la Aurora de la Casa de Hayabusa.
Honored to meet you. I'm Captain Marisol Barlow. These are my companions.
I understand you are looking at after a dragon.
Yes.
Not just one, several.
Well, there's one primarily, but he has kids.
Yeah, we already killed
best not. I don't think that was one of his kids.
It was.
Claws were the
The
wrong
claw?
color.
Yeah, they all have different colored claws. This must be the youngest since his is copper, and I showed the claw.
And we were only told about just silver claws on the kids.
Nah, must be a whole family.
Well, best would be not to fight all of them at once.
My companions and I We came traveling to Golden Glens from Bourgogne, after hearing of troubles and that there was good times to be had for mercenaries. We were assaulted by 2 dragons, one younger, size of a warhorse, one larger that could have picked an ogre up in its claws.
What color were these claws?
It's interesting you should ask. The larger one, the claws were silver. It is strange. We were hired by the mayor of La Linde to hunt these dragons. Our captain, the leader of our group, Bertrand of Golden Glens. No, I'm sorry, my head. Bertrand of Greenhill. He said he had an itch in the back between his shoulder blades. So we snuck out of the village at night under a cloak of invisibility.
Do I know Bertrand of Greenhill?
Yeah, he's your second cousin. We snuck out on the cover of night, invisible, with our druid covering our tracks. Took less than 2 days before these 2 dragons, out of nowhere, jumped us. We were about to be annihilated, but Bertrand called upon some heretofore unseen power. He injured the smaller one severely, so we managed to run, me and Bertrand and Iselin, but I'm afraid to say the acid, the poison, it took its toll upon us. The only one to reach this tower and relative safety was me.
That
So my
seems
cousin is
like
dead then.
seems like a lot of trouble to go through just to have somebody scratch your back. Why would you want to have a dragon scratch the itch on between the shoulder blades anyway?
No, he meant he had a premonition. He felt it. He always used to know things before they happened back when we were kids.
I don't know what made him uncomfortable, but he wanted to stay in La Linde as short as possible. Maybe he was afraid the dragons would attack while we were there.
So, with my Lord Dragon roll, looking at this man, like the injuries and stuff that he has, does it like link up with what I would think would be a black dragon?
Yeah, it's definitely black dragon, but from the look of it, there's more poison involved than you would have expected. Black dragons are known for acid, but you can see from the veins, the way his veins are blackened, and some of the injuries he's got with hands that are swollen, and the skin where he's been hit by acid isn't just deformed by the acid; it's also swollen and red around it. These dragons might have some poisonous properties in addition to acid.
And you said he's got like sharp teeth, like he's got some hobgoblin in him. Is there any
Yeah.
draconic or anything that I can recognize, maybe?
Not in him, no. But you've spent your time around goblins and hobgoblins, that sort of thing. You pretty. Or Edamir is 100% certain that he's half hobgoblin.
That was for trying to identify the poison, like why it would do more poison than acid.
Well,
on the
that's
dragon.
You get that one as a freebie for that natural 20. From the look of it, the injuries, from what you can hear when he starts going into the detail of exactly how it worked, it seems the acid is also poisonous. This might be a subtype of black dragon. You know, there are sometimes smaller mutations or dragons in a natural habitat that deviates from the norm might pick up extra powers like You've heard of red dragons that breathe not just fire, but liquid fire that clings to people and floats on the surface of water. This is probably one of those situations where these black dragons are slightly different from the norm, having some added capabilities to their repertoire. However, you're pretty certain that the red dragon you'd heard of, and also a blue dragon that you'd heard of, all of them were also much smarter than the average dragon. That's saying a lot for reds and blues as it goes. And they were dangerous, not just because they'd mutated, but also because they'd built up large amounts of followers. Typically, things endemic to, like, the red dragon had fire giants, and that blue dragon had desert giants. Giants love them. Dragons love them some giants. That's pretty much all you can gather from what you heard and remember from your training as a druid.
And I'll let them know.
Master Diego, how did my cousin die? And where?
He was your cousin. My apologies, senorita. I cannot confirm that he died. He disappeared in a swirling pool of water as we were crossing a particularly deep part of river. Iselin and me, we tried to help him, but we were so weak from the poison.
Oh, I do not blame you at all. I just wanted to know because my aunt and uncle will want to know.
I wish I could tell you exactly where the body is. But him at least would be at the bottom of a river if that whirlpool was natural. For the rest of my companions, we were 2 days to the northwest of La Linde, at a river delta.
Well, at least he wasn't eaten by a black dragon. That's something. Thank you, though. I'll make sure the family gets to know it. And based on Green Hill being what it is, for all we know, he's home drinking coffee, black bean brew right now. You never know.
I wish I had more and better news for you. I would join you to restore the honor of my family, but honor demands I look reality in the face. I was no match for any of these dragons. My swords bounced off their scales. I was not fast or strong enough to even pose a threat to the smallest one. Once I'm healed, I shall seek out the College of the Immaculate Swords, see if they can teach me enough strength that I can restore honor to my family and find the bodies of my fallen comrades. Now, though, I must rest. Thank you for listening to my story.
I wish you all the best.
Krios guide you on your path to slaying these dragons.
May Krius bring you safely home.
Caresa's blessing be on you, Mr. Diego.
Yeah. Shuffles back into the tower. The older lady with the halberd leans back and points to a trough with cold river water and a couple of clay bottles of beer in it. And, well, you can all rest here by the tower if you want, or you can carry on into the forest if you wish. Either way, you can have a beer if you want. If you're hunting dragons, that's well enough reason for me to give you a cold one.
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask if they know of any natural wildlife in the swamp that may have poison properties that these dragons could be eating.
Yes. Well, I'm not a citizen of Gramont, but I know Gramont lives mostly from gathering all of the different herbs and other things in the swamps and exporting it to alchemists and others. You have your usual reptiles and spiders and moths and centipedes and other poisonous creatures. I think the usual danger for the people of Gramont that travel the river is the huge crocodiles.
Anything big enough, that's poison enough to sate the appetite of dragons.
Only outside of or to the north of Langon and Lacanau in Lake Gramont itself, there's a type of jellyfish. Can grow to be 30 feet in diameter. Very poisonous. Also highly expensive to buy as an ingredient for a lot of alchemy. I know they're hunted actively by the lords of Gramont, their fishermen. It's said that deeper down in the lake itself, even bigger jellyfish, 60, 90 feet, can be found that never come up to the surface. With enough poison that just touching one of their tendrils could kill a man in seconds.
Thank you.
Dried and properly treated, they are a fantastic. They are a fantastic treat to eat.
They sound like they'd go good on toast.
On that note, we're going to take a short 15-minute break so people get the chance to buy our coffee and that sort of thing. We can take care of Doug that is driving us insane. So we'll be back shortly and at 8:30 p.m. CET. We're in 15 minutes for everybody else.
She's only humping me.
There we are. Yep, that's wife number 2 only humps Sarwina. Anyway, welcome back, everybody. We had ourselves a small break. Party were just about to decide where they were going to sleep and whether or not to drink beer. And we'll get back into it.
Well, I want a beer.
I wouldn't mind sleeping in in the tower, last bastion before we actually get into the wilds.
I agree.
Well, you're all welcome. It's made for 16 with Diego sleeping here. There's 9 of us, but some of us are going to be up on watch throughout the night anyway. As long as you vacate their beds when dawn comes, and it's time for them to go to sleep. As you can imagine, watch crew of our age gets mighty grumpy after it's time to sleep. And she chuckles. From the look of it, they're all human, this group, and none of them is under 50.
I would never deny the night watch their bed.
Yeah, entering the tower, you feel the same sort of welcome you felt in the tower in Ravensbridge. Instantly feeling more relaxed and safe. It doesn't hurt that you pretty much know the layout of the place as well. Once you get to the second floor with the where the sleeping cots and the common area and with food and drink and everything is, you know where everything is. The spoons are in the same place, pots are hung up in the same arrangement. If you didn't know better, you could almost swear you were back in Ravensbridge.
This is uncanny.
This feels homely.
You think the way how magical these towers are, they are connected somehow?
Possibly a standard design. Maybe they're connected. Don't know.
Probably just the same design and everything. Or maybe they are connected. I don't know. But it feels very nice.
Hey, remember,
I'd say it's a standard design. Probably for, those teleporting mages to know where they're going to end up at.
Or the First Empire just were the suckers for standards.
That would make sense if we were living in the First Empire, but it's been at least a week since that empire fell and was replaced by the second, and at least another week since that one fell too. For standards to persist over such a period of time, there must be some reason.
They knew how to build them back then?
That they did, for certain.
Is
As
it
far as I can
magical in nature? Go ahead, Preacher. I'm sorry.
As far as I can recall, there was no magic connected to their creation. But as to how they're still standing millennia later, it's anybody's guess. I am pondering that right now.
If you give me a day, I could talk to the stones tomorrow and find out their story.
I don't think we have that kind of time for you to wait just another day to... Yeah, but wouldn't you have to, prepare spells again after that? I don't know how that works for you.
I prepare spells in the morning.
Yeah, but then we are missing some for the fight.
What fight? We're still a few days out.
Yeah.
Well, you feel warm, confident, safe. Others are on guard for once. Are you going to have anybody on guard yourselves?
Yes.
Zara will join Preacher after her 2 hours of rest.
Yeah. So
I'm gonna head up to the top of the tower and look up at the stars.
yeah, it's a clear night. Staring at the stars, you give us an astronomy roll. I know you've got the skill, so why not use it? Astrology, actually, not astronomy. Holy carp! Okay then. Mador spends first 1 hour, then another hour, then another hour staring up at the stars. You just can't get it to fit. Until you realize there are new constellations up there. Entirely new constellations. You've never seen or heard of before. While other minor constellations seem to have disappeared. But you're in the same world, you're fairly confident of that. Because most of the major constellations you know are unchanged.
What minor constellations have kind of disappeared?
You'd have to spend a lot of time to be entirely certain, but
All right.
you can see that the wench that was affiliated with Creus, for example, is changed out with a different constellation. The Hound is changed out, and the dark space where there was nothing, which was generally considered to be the constellation of the undead. There are now stars there.
All right. Okay. That's going to be getting Medora thinking.
Yeah. At some point, even Mador needs to sleep, leaving only Sara and Preacher up. And 4 elderly militia people who are mostly just putting about, doing what seems to be a perfectly good job of actually keeping watch, but knitting or sitting with a knife and a piece of wood and working at it or something while they're doing it.
I'll still get up my usual time to do my morning exercises.
Yep.
Yeah. Before we go to sleep, Estrella would nudge Magnus to take a few steps.
Right. Estrella and Magnus time.
What do you think about the upcoming fight? You think we're properly prepared?
I think we're as prepared as we're going to get. I don't know. The prospect of poison as well as the acid worries me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tried to get potions against at least the acid from the Fae, but apparently they forgot about those. Unless they have woven something into these healing potions about it. But talking about potions, well, you heard what was said earlier about brewing the potions, and of course they're right. Iodi is faster with this cauldron, but I don't know. Lately, I feel like they do not appreciate my skills.
Strela, Iodi himself asked you to help. Yeah, it's more than he did. He hasn't offered to teach me how to brew these potions, and I'm the healer. So, take it as a compliment. Use it as an opportunity to prove what you can do. And then after that, there will be no more questions. I believe.
He also said, finally, we have some use for her. So my scouting skills do not count at all. I mean, we are so much depending on the druid, and I know that his skills are useful. But why disregard everything else?
Ah, it's just rough humour. Don't take anything from it. It's nothing personal. You do tend to stumble into things once every so often. Take it as a sign that he likes you and he's teasing.
I highly doubt the part about the liking.
He's got
He likes himself and maybe Marisol. Everyone else, I'm not sure. We are useful to him.
maybe in the beginning. I sense these days it goes a little further than that.
Well, I just hope we all come out of this one alive, and maybe after we've done what we have to do in La Rochelle, we can, look at what needs to be done afterwards. I mean, for my part at least, I'm pretty far away from what I wanted to do. You know, Crack de Chevalier. I'm still trying to figure out a few things there, and we've been so close and yet so far.
You've been caught up in events, as is everyone else. There'll be time later, I hope. In the meantime, we can only do as much as we can and try and keep each other alive and beat this dragon and then see where we go from there.
Yeah, we don't have to do my stuff, I know, but I just hope that we kind of get to decide a little more what we want to do and not just follow the next, fire, let's say.
As nice as it would be to chase our own tasks and quests about the place, there's a danger here that needs to be taken care of first. Once we've taken care of that, maybe there'll be time to settle up with the others. I know you're wanting to hunt, and so would I like to speak to the officers that used to command you. But
Oh, yeah.
and he reaches out and taps her nose. Remember, Iodi asked you for your help in the potions. Yeah? Now, whatever you think about how he may regard the rest of us, except for Marisol, he needs this dragon killing so that he's not turned into... Was it a book or a cushion? I can't even remember.
A book, I think.
Aye, a skim book, probably. If we do this, and we get him this dragon so that he can take it back for whoever, he'll appreciate us and he'll be grateful. And that will cement any further bonds of friendship.
You know, I find it hard to fit in a group that's together because they want to. Maybe that is why I have doubts about my role in the group at the moment.
Probably. You've more or less always existed on your own. Yeah? Even if you had a group of other soldiers around you, they were more or less yours to look after as best you could. And anyone outside of your own experience wasn't to be trusted. Otherwise, well, I doubt our village was the only one in Centera that asked you why you were fighting and offered you another way.
Oh, there wasn't another way for us. She touches her face, the eye where the tattoo was broken. We were magically bound. Some may even still are.
Aye. But it's gaining enough trust to try and find a way to break that. Well, this is a different type of group. We all fight because we want to, because we want something. And we have to trust each other. Yeah. Now, sometimes personalities are going to clash. Mador is not necessarily the easiest person to take, but he means well. He has his own quirks, his history. Makes him not trust easily either, especially Iodi. But he lays his trust in him as best he can now. So will it be for you? If you open up enough and let the others closer to you.
You were very forgiving about my past. I'm not sure about the others. On the other hand, I mean, you forgave me. What reason? And you would have had the most reason not to.
Aye, but the trust put in me, my oaths as champion to Carissa, and the beliefs of my wife. She believed that people could be brought to freedom. That people didn't want to live in slavery as you have. Would be a poor repayment of the years of her love and partnership if I suddenly started saying, and punishing you for something you couldn't help. You made the best choice that you could at the time. You took the only way out that you had. And I have to understand that and make allowances. And no matter what happened, you were doing what you thought best at the time.
I sure did, but
That's all any of us can do, no matter what.
very few people have such a big heart to forgive. It's not an easy thing to do, and I don't know, maybe... No, I do know. That is one of the reasons why I love you.
Well, your unspeakable charm does help. Not to mention the fact that you're sneaky as hell. So, I keep wanting to ask you what you've managed to secrete in your pack, but I think I'm better off not knowing.
Talking about sneaking, let's sneak back, try not to wake the others.
Aye. I wonder. I'd like to go up to the top of the tower, but I don't want to disturb Mador in his stargazing.
Yeah, better get a good rest. The next days will be very difficult.
Aye. Slogging through a swamp is not exactly my idea of a good time. Oh, that smell.
And chuckling, she takes his hand and leads back.
Yep. Sora and Preacher are gonna speak any in the at night, or just gonna do their own things?
I'll talk a little bit to Sarah. Whether Sarah wants to talk back to me, I don't know. But the towers, as such, and all of the Empire remains. Since there was quite a bit of war going on, maybe somebody or something decided these should stand for whatever reason they have, whether curse or purpose. Who knows? But no regular structure should be standing millennia later. Not in this condition.
It's also not the first remnants of the first empire we've seen. We've crossed bridges also erected by them. It's like they decided that if they were going to build something, that they would build it to last as long as their empire would, with the lofty goals of eternity.
Agreed. And the skill made in these are quite outstanding. However, knowing what I know about engineering, even stone should break at some point over millennia. This is uncanny. They shouldn't be standing.
Well, there's many strange things involved with magic, and who knows which flavor they were using. The First Empire has many such wonders that we have no idea how they did, even, with temples like the Grand Temple of Iran studying it, for the priest's whole life. They have no idea how they were doing some of the things. It's like the degree of magic that existed back then just isn't.
True. I guess what I'm trying to remember, or what I'm theorizing, is that it was so tumultuous, it was cataclysmic. Many powers that were probably took notice and decided to act, and I wouldn't be surprised if the preservation of these structures were done to a purpose. I can't explain it otherwise.
That's possible. Another thing to consider is even like yourself, the ability to house souls. It's something that figure we fought in the temple, the lich. That's something that they sacrifice their humanity. They spend their entire life to achieve that, just to capture their own soul.
Yeah.
Yet you can capture numerous, and there was more than just one of you walking around wherever they felt like they needed you to be. The degree at which the scale at which those empires operated it's really hard to fathom.
I do agree on that. Although I can't say there were that many of us. I would venture a guess and say they're probably less than 100 of my exact type.
I would put a wager down of every coin that I had that every nation still standing couldn't muster up the resources to craft even one of you. So for there to
Probably
be
not.
100, it's just a scale that it's really hard to understand. So a tower that lasts forever, that's child's play compared to some of the things that they were operating under. How about that training facility that we entered?
True.
Creating perfect facsimiles of wondrous terrains that aren't on this continent, just sitting beneath a city waiting.
Very true. And while we're talking about this, I kind of look over towards the soldiers that probably stopped knitting and stopped woodwhittling.
Oh no, they're way too experienced listening into on their officers without letting anybody know to do anything of the sort. If anything, they're paying you even less attention now that you're talking about something interesting.
I agree with you. It's remarkable the lengths they went to preserve things.
I mean, if you expect to last forever, you want all of your constructions to do the same.
Fair point.
But no one can see the future, at least not truly.
Although they tried. Well, something to think about. I tap the stones of the tower gently and just stand pondering a little bit more.
Yep. Asmodor is readying to go to bed. He finds himself alone in the top floor of the tower. The soldier on watch with the ballista has gone down to get more black bean brew. And suddenly he's not staring up at or staring at stars. He's staring at a figure in jet black plate armor with a flowing cloak that's floating outside of the outside of the tower battlements. She takes off her helmet. He sees a pale, very dark-skinned face, and an afro pops out. Yeah. It's a beautiful lady with slightly pointed teeth, who bows to him in the air. So, you must be the leader of this band that's been causing so much trouble for my mistress. What is your name, Sir Knight?
First, tell me your name.
Very well. I am Baldegunda, first spear of Tasha, the Grand Mistress.
Though I'm not the leader, I'm just known as Mador.
Just known as Mador, but dressed in the armor of a Grand Master of a knightly order. Tell me, do you even know what you're fighting? Who you're fighting? Even why you're fighting? What is this just a last gasp of this wretched country where the few take from the many?
Well, madam, after what I've seen, that you're supposedly, was it 103 or 301, as I keep on being hearing?
Mistress Tasha is both.
Tasha's.
She is many and she is one.
Yeah, but from the destruction I have seen, the death of the innocent, how can your place be any better? You're killing innocents.
You have no idea of the grander scale of things, do you? If the Death Lord is allowed to take his plan to fruition, nobody will breathe. It will be a...
So by killing people and turning them into your undead servants is a better place.
Once Tasha takes the Death Lord's place, the undead and the living will work side by side. If the Death Lord gets what he wants, it will all be still, as in a pond where everything is dead. If you had seen the destruction in Koren, Abernath, where the first battles were fought, this would seem as just a small skirmish. So tell me again, why do you fight? Why do you fight change? Why will you not join us? Help the mistress defeat the Death Lord. Yes, there will be undead. There will always be undead. It is a staple of this world, unchanging. Imagine if a great wise sage dies and can continue his work as a ghost, what will it do for your species? For countries?
So turning into an unfeeling, unloving, undead.
Oh, I will tell you, I'm very much neither unfeeling or unloving. I love my mistress very much, and I'm feeling great annoyance with you and your little band. That, however, comes to an end now. She locks eyes with Mador, and you can see her eyes start to gleam. Huh? Invite me in. And as she starts to use the power, you can see sort of a golden glow around the tower. And she goes, Tasha, damn it. Before it's like she's hit by a battering ram and disappears into the forest. You can hear trees breaking as she disappears in the distance.
Damn, I was going to try to run for the ballista and take a shot at her. All right. So the golden light came from this tower and knocked it literally into the forest.
Yep. She has been, in the nomenclature of young people, yeeted.
Does the
I'm
light wake
impressed with
me
the
up?
tower, but I have to talk to our captain on this.
Yeah, Preacher and Zara probably noticed that Mador seems just a bit more agitated than usual after stargazing when he comes down.
Is Marisol still sleeping?
Yep. You can actually hear snoring from the corner where she and Magnus are having a duel, it seems, about who's the most tired.
How long have I been up in the tower at this time?
You're a bit uncertain. You kind of lost track of time when you noticed that the constellations have changed. But you've been there for a hot minute. Both Preacher and Zara are up again, so at a minimum 2 hours.
Did anything just happen in this tower that you're aware of? Asking Zara and Preacher.
Nope.
No, not really. We were having a discussion about how these towers can still be standing.
I
Okay.
suspect magic. But there's not much to go off of. It's not like they radiate anything in particular.
Oh no, they
I
radiate
sense.
nothing. You're right, nothing at all.
suspect a greater power, if anything.
Did the light wake me up since I'm outside?
The light didn't wake you up, but the sonic boom of the vampire being yeeted definitely woke you up, although nobody inside of the tower actually heard it.
I'm gonna rush in and be like, or go over to them and be like, what in God's name was that?
What was what?
That loud boom.
There was no
Look over to
boom
my
here.
door.
What loud boom?
I was outside. There was a loud boom, and I swear I heard someone yelling.
I guess we better take a look outside.
I'm not gonna say a thing, and I'm gonna head over to a corner and try to sleep.
Right. So, as the Preacher mentions going outside, one of the older guards looks at him and says, I wouldn't leave the tower at night if I wasn't looking for a fight, good sir. Nothing can get in here, but if anything is outside, you'll be free pickings.
It's fine. I sleep out there.
All right, I'll go up on the top then.
I got a little foxhole dug and everything.
With little sandbags. Oh, lovely.
I head up and peer around the surroundings just to look and see if I can hear anything or see anything.
Well, you see a path of trees that seem to have been splintered very recently. But other than that, nothing.
Strange thunder. Lightning bolt, maybe?
Would have to be a very long-range one, because the forest is pretty sparse here, and you're fairly certain that's at least a kilometer of trees that have been destroyed. That would be probably beyond the OD. You don't know. You haven't actually checked.
Okay. I give that area my full attention for the next hour.
I go back to sleep.
Well, nothing more interesting happens. You get yourself a good solid breakfast in the morning. The guards are discussing what in the world could have caused that with the long line of destroyed trees.
Destroyed trees?
Yeah, there's a kilometer streak of tree splinters going from the top of the tower in a downward angle ish in that direction.
Yeah, I heard a loud boom last night, and then that was there.
Well, I guess.
Yodi, were you practicing your lightning bolt?
No, Iodi was doing much sleeping.
Ah,
Marisol, may I have a word with you?
Of course.
Let's go to the top of the tower.
Well, that's pretty crowded right now. Pretty much everybody's there.
Okay, then let's head out the front door.
Yeah, much more privacy.
Lead the way.
I had interesting visions last night, let's say, and then I had a visitation.
Pray tell.
You see that long streak of damaged trees?
Yes?
I know what caused it.
What did?
Let's just say we've been hearing about this vampire lord champion that's been killing all the other champions.
Yeah.
I think her name was the first spear Balagunda of Mistress with another lady's name of Tasha.
Okay. I've never heard any of those names, right?
Nope, entirely unknown to you.
But we have been given description of this vampire lord, correct?
Yes.
I'll describe the description to her.
Yeah, I remember that description.
Well, I don't know what she was trying to do. A, she thinks I'm the leader of this group. B, she's trying to tell me that that this group here is trying to stop the Death Lord. That she wants the undead and living can live together in peace.
So they are trying to stop the Death Lord.
Yeah, and I kind of explained
By
to him
killing
this
us.
But exactly, that's what I tried to explain to her, and I don't know what she was trying to do because she said this ends now. She started looking at me. There was a golden light, a big boom, and then you see the destruction, and she was gone. She did say something about Tasha as she got hit.
I think we need to be more on watch then. Jesus.
Yeah. I haven't informed anybody else because they probably wouldn't believe it if I told them.
I have no reason to distrust you.
Also, there are new constellations up there.
There are what?
There are new constellations up in the sky. Some old ones are gone. The Wench, the Hound, to name a few. The darkness that we thought that would be the Death Lord has stars in it now too.
So even the stars are realigning?
I would have to be looking more into it. We don't have the time, but I definitely believe, yeah, the stars are realigning.
Damn. I'm gonna have to make a note of this to Walter if it's okay with you.
I have no problem with that. But again, her name is Balagunda, the vampire champion, and she serves, or as she says,
Tasha.
her beloved Tasha.
Okay. I'll send a message to Walter and see if he has anything to say, but this is interesting news either way. Thank you for telling me.
Well, you are this captain. You are the captain. I don't know why they thought I was the leader of this group, but
It might be the fact that you are a knight and I'm just a commoner.
the reluctant knight, you know that.
You are a knight and a grand master of a knightly order, even if it just has one member. So, you know.
Well, I say we got to be really careful on this one.
Absolutely. And keep watch. If you see her again, let me know.
Before or after I take a shot at her or try to attack her.
Well, if she attacks you, then make sure you attack first. Honestly, I have no idea how we are even supposed to remotely being able to fight something like that. But we'll have to try.
Especially when the reports are that she's killed all these other champions in the fight.
Yes, and we will do our best to survive this. And it just became a whole lot bigger than we are.
I definitely think there's a bigger picture than what we're seeing. She said something about if the Death Lord had his way, everything would be dead. But this one, which I think is the one of three or the three of one, whichever they call it, because she did mention that Tasha is one of many.
Yeah, we've heard about
Once,
three.
once the undead and living working together, and I kind of asked her no, how can you work together if you're undead? You have no feelings, you have no love. I can't see how that is a better life.
Well, as the Lady and Lord teaches in Greenhill, life is always preferred to undeath. And I really hope we can do something about this because it scares the crap out of me. Although I try not to show it.
I'm troubled by this visitation too, but
Yes,
we must press on.
we must. And thank you again. Please let me know if you see anything more.
I will, Captain.
Thank you, Sir Knight. I go back to my cot and sit down and write the note to Walter.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna go over to Yodi and ask if he can make potions of resistance. Master Yodi,
Yes, tiny fox friend.
would you be able to make potions of resistances for like acid and poison?
In
I
a
could
few
probably help
in a
try
few
to find,
days, Yodi could try to do this, but once I start concocting, I am stuck concocting.
What about wands? Can you make wands? I know a spell called Neutralize Poison that might be able to help us out.
If we wanted to take a week for Yodi to sit and craft a wand, he could do this.
How far do I think it is before we reach like one of the next cities?
Currently, for you getting to the village, that'll put you on a boat would be about 3 days travel, and then about 2 days of boat travel until you're in Lalinde.
Ah, darn. Well, I guess we can't do anything about it. On a different note, I want to gather everybody around so we can talk to this stone since people seem to have questions for the stone. So I'm going to go gather everybody that wants to talk to stone.
Right.
Okay, since everybody had so many questions for the stone, I'm gonna cast level 6 Stone Tell. It lasts 10 minutes. I can ask questions and receive answers from natural and work stone. While stone is not intelligent, I can speak to the natural spirits of the stone, which I have personally colored by the type of the stone as well as the type of the structure the stone is a part of. For work stone, as stone's perspective, perception, and knowledge give it a worldview different enough from a human's that it does not consider the same details important. And can mostly answer questions about creatures that touched them in the past, what's concealed beneath them or behind them. So, anybody have any questions for the stone? Or the spirits of the stone?
Well, it comes down to variations of how can you still be standing as a whole building after millennia?
And I will ask the stone.
Because the general has decided our watch is not over.
Who is the general?
The general is the general.
Describe the general.
The general is a man.
When will your watch be over?
Watch will be over when the general says our watch is over.
What are you watching out for?
Watch out for the enemies of the general and his host.
How long have you stood?
I have stood for 6,742 of your years.
Did you repel an enemy recently?
An agent of the enemies of the general was repelled very recently.
Define the enemy of the general. Characteristics.
The enemy of the general are those who oppose the host.
Am I a member of the host?
You didn't used to be, but you are now.
What is the host?
The host are the companions of the general.
Estrella's looking to the others. Could that have something to do with the test we did?
It's
Ask if any
possible.
of us are part of the horde. No, if we are
I
part
mean, our
of the
names
team.
were taken down.
They were.
Is everyone in this group part of the host?
You are all part of the host. You bear the badges.
There we have it.
So they know about the First Order.
Are the towers linked in some fashion?
The towers keep watch for the general. The general watches the towers.
Are you concealing anything?
Would I tell you if I was?
Probably not.
What can you tell us about the enemy you repelled last night? We might oppose that enemy outside of this tower. Assist us, please.
Powerful, an agent of a divinity. Undead, classification, vampire, elder. Presented as female. Foul-mouthed.
Are there any towers in Gramont, or is this a boundary line?
There were towers in Gramont. Some of them have been destroyed. One still stands. Unreachable to most.
How is it unreachable?
It is an area that's hostile to most life forms that come to the towers.
Is there a tower in La Rochette?
There is no tower in La Rochette.
I was considering asking it to list all of the general's enemies, but that might take too long.
It would probably just say the enemies are the enemies.
Yeah.
What is the general's goal?
The general's goal is the protection of the host. Until his watch is ended.
How do you know when the general's watch has ended?
I have no idea.
Is there anything we can do to help you keep your power? Or help you in any way?
You can destroy the enemies of the host.
Fair enough. I have no more questions. Anybody else?
Nope.
Can't think of any.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Strength and honor.
Strength and honor.
And then the spell ends.
Wow.
Well, that was interesting.
Very.
Now, is everybody's curiosity about the stone sated?
About
Aye.
this stone, yes. About the general, no. I have a very, very weird suspicion that I might have seen somebody that knows exactly who this general is. That bleeding sorcerer that tossed his wife's spirit at me. He was of that time.
Well, I guess finding out more about our badges would be a good start for that. They are obviously linked to him.
Mm-hmm. There was a name that was mentioned when these were issued.
Oh, there was a general, wasn't it?
Yes, indeed.
I'm sure there were more than one general back in the Empire.
Absolutely.
Aye, but this is a specific one. The Lord of the Host.
Well, we were supposed to find someone to reactivate our badges, so I'm not sure we can do that, looking at how much time has passed since that test was initiated the first time. But there should be something in the archive somewhere, right?
Possibly.
These First Order guys seem pretty strong. I wonder what brought around the downfall.
Yeah. Genocidal wars.
The death of their gods.
Ah, true. Wait, does that mean that since the wheels are changing and gods are changing now, that everybody's gonna die?
Well, it seems as though
Gods have been changing before.
Yes, but in cycles. And like I said before, we're upon a new cycle, or coming upon. That's how Preacher's gonna, become a god with all his followers.
What?
On that note, I think that's a pretty good place to end the session. So thank you everybody for joining. Last week's session I'd forgotten to put up on YouTube. It'll be up sometime during tomorrow morning, and the session will be up sometime during the week. We are not playing next Sunday because I'll be at a conference, but we will hopefully be back the Sunday after that again. So thank you all for joining. We're going to let our esteemed streamer Tulmar find somebody to raid. We'll see you all next time. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy, and be well.
Bye.
Bye.
Very good.
Bye.